I'm a firm believer in why have something boring when you can make it pretty. So today I'm going to turn this plain, boring old teapot that I have into a really cute sewing kit. I've had this really simple clear glass teapot for several years, and I never actually use it to make tea. It's not the most practical of teapots, it's also not the prettiest of my teapots. So I keep it around because it technically is functional, it's fine, but I never actually use it. And I'm also tired of having to scavenge around for my sewing basics or break out my big kit when I need to do a quick small job. So I'm going to make a small, adorable, but practical sewing kit that I can keep out readily accessible, but still have look cute. So when I need to do a quick little repair job, I don't have to break out my whole sewing kit, but I also don't have to stash this away somewhere because it'll be pretty, so it's also a decorative item. You could use any teapot, particularly if you have one that matches your decor. It doesn't have to be clear. I love the idea of it not immediately looking like a sewing kit and just looking like you are at all times ready to go with a pot of tea because goals. But I also like the idea of it being immediately recognizable as a sewing kit, and I'm all about upcycling. So since I already have this, it totally makes sense for me to use this. To begin with, I'm only going to be using the lid of the teapot, and I'm going to go ahead and set aside the actual pot. I picked up this very simple, basic pincushion for just a couple of bucks at Walmart. You can find this all kinds of different places. It's the typical sort of strawberry look, which is fine. You could use this just as is, but I, of course, have to go a little bit extra and make mine cuter. The key for me is having a pincushion that fits into the lid of the teapot. If you're actually using an opaque teapot, not a clear one, you could sort of stuff in there whatever you needed to make it fit. I really wanted to have one that was approximately a good size all on its own so that I don't have to put a lot of things in there that are going to fill it in. I want it to be just kind of visible because I'm going to be using a cute fabric and I want it to be visible from all different angles. You can use whatever fabric you like. I picked up a really cute little fat quarter in a black and white classic houndstooth. This also came from Walmart. I think it was like $1 or $2. Pretty cheap, and there's going to be way more fabric than I need for this project, so that's nice to have some extra for something going forward. My first step will be removing the little needle sharpening strawberry. It is cute, it is practical, but it is not really going to work very well for this particular project, so I'm just going to snip that off. So I'm going to unfold my fabric, open it up, and then I'm going to make sure to cut off enough of it to cover my entire pincushion. I'm going to want this green fabric part of the pincushion to be down inside the lid, so I won't have to worry about poking needles through it when I'm actually using it as a sewing kit. So I'm going to stick that up right now and end up folding all the fabric over the pincushion so that when I'm using it, this will be the visible portion. To avoid excess bulk when I end up wrapping it, I want to get rid of some of these corners. So I'm going to make it roughly circular based off of this being my diameter because that will go just past covering both sides of the pincushion. So to do that, I'm going to fold it in half and then quarters and then fold it one more time. And I'm going to make it roughly circular by making it pie-shaped right here and remove all this extra. So now I've removed all of this bulk and I have a roughly circular piece of material. It doesn't have to be perfect, I just want it to be kind of close. Then I set the pincushion back in the center of the material. Once I've glued one spot down to the pincushion, I'm going to gradually work my way around the pincushion, folding all the extra material down relatively flat. It doesn't have to be perfect, it is going to be tucked inside the lid of the teapot. I just want it to be relatively neat. When I get near the end, I want to make sure I tuck any raw edges inside so they won't be visible, and then fold and glue the last section down. And then as you can see, I have a cute little houndstooth pincushion now. On my lid in particular, this little area here is going to have nothing but air in there, and it's going to be closed off from the pincushion, blocking off this whole section. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of sparkle in here because why not? Definitely an extra and unnecessary step, but I am nothing if not extra. I don't want to completely fill it. I want to let the crystals move around a little bit in there, kind of like a snow globe effect, so that they'll sparkle and catch the light a little bit more. Now for my next step, I'm going to use a combination of hot glue to make it stick immediately and hold, and tacky glue to have it hold over time. So I'm going to run the tacky glue in a ring around right here, just enough to really let it soak through to the different layers of the pincushion so it will hold and stay in place over time. So now you can see I have a ring of tacky glue around the knob portion of my pot's lid. Now I want to put some hot glue onto the pincushion so that when I put it down inside, it will stick and hold immediately and stay in place until the tacky glue has had time to dry. Now to do that, I'm going to use my actual lid as a guide so I know approximately where the tacky glue has already been put so I can put the hot glue near that. So the beauty of this is that I have two glues that will dry pretty clear, and I will have the sparkles happening up here in the lid and the cute houndstooth print visible throughout the entire lid. And when I'm actually using it later, this way I will be able to pull off the lid off the pot, set it down, and just stick pins right here into it and have this whole area here readily accessible, and it's got a nice little like ledge that it'll sit and stand very nicely. It won't be rolling all over my workspace. Now I'll set the lid aside to dry while I move on. Because I'm using a glass pot and I'm going to be dropping a lot of things down into it that are metal or plastic, I don't want to have it be super loud and annoying, and I don't want to risk breaking the pot later. So I'm going to make sort of a little pad for the very bottom down here, to reduce noise and chance of breaking, but also honestly to be kind of cute. To do that, I'm using a scrap piece of craft foam, and I'm going to set my teapot onto it. Then I'm going to use a pencil that I don't have any lead poking out of, anything that will leave an indent in the foam. I'm going to hold the teapot in place, and I'm going to trace around the base of my teapot until I get a circle that is about the size of the bottom of my teapot. By pressing the pencil in as far as I can and making a series of dots around the base, I'm going to end up with a circle that is about the size of the flat bottom of the pot, and then slightly bigger so it'll come up just a little bit onto the sides without having a lot of extra material. So I have a series of little indentions making a circle in the foam, and I will cut just barely inside those rings to sort of connect the dot and end up with a circle of foam. Now, using that as a template, I'm going to make a second one on a second piece of foam. Now I'm going to lay out my houndstooth fabric, and I'm going to cut out just enough of it to cover one of the circles with a little bit of excess. Then I'm going to snip in towards the center all the way around, being careful not to go all the way to the foam. Then one at a time, working my way around, I'm going to glue down each of these little tabs. I'm going to run another line of glue all the way around the perimeter and then attach the second foam disc. Carefully press the two discs together all the way around your glue ring. Now you have a disc that is houndstooth on one side, plain on the other, and two thicknesses of foam plus a little bit of the fabric. Now, just like I used two different glues on the lid, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put some tacky glue in the very center and then around the outer edge, and I'm going to run some hot glue in the middle. So the hot glue, for now, will hold the little foam pad to the bottom of the teapot, but then over time the tacky glue will hold better. To keep from getting glue all over the inside of my pot, I very carefully started to fold the foam disc into sort of a taco shape. That way I wouldn't touch the glue to the teapot. Make sure you put the glue to the inside of your taco shell. Then I just carefully poked it down inside, got it to be fairly centered and flat, and pressed it down to make sure I had good contact all the way around the foam pad. Now you just need to set both pieces aside and let the glue dry, and then you can fill your sewing kit. I think it turned out super duper cute. As you can see, there's still plenty of room for anything I decide to add later, but I've got all the basics covered. So for a quick, simple sewing job that I just want to get done and over with, everything is right here at hand, easy to grab. But it's cute enough to leave out as a decorative piece all the time, so it's going to be easily accessible. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Let me know in the comments down below if you think this turned out as adorable as I did. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. I upload a new video every Monday and Thursday. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.